In a galaxy plagued by countless vanishing civilizations, humanity stood as the last enduring anomaly. While entire empires fell to mysterious forces, Earth refused to be erased, stubbornly surviving against all odds. But beneath humanity's resilience lay something far more terrifying than extinction. Something ancient, hidden, and destined to awaken. The question wasn't whether humanity would disappear, but whether they would become the force that destroys everything in their wake. The year was 2178, and humanity had come a long way from its primitive beginnings. They had colonized distant stars, made alliances with alien civilizations, and harnessed technologies far beyond their wildest dreams. Yet, despite all their advancements, there was still one question that lingered in the minds of all. How the heck did Earth, of all places, win the Most Terrifying Planet award? It sounded ridiculous. Earth? A planet that once fought itself tooth and nail over dwindling resources, fought wars over scraps of dirt and water, now deemed terrifying? Really? But there it was, in bold letters on the screens of every ship, every colony, and every being who had ever heard of Earth. Congratulations! Earth, the most terrifying planet in the known universe. The announcement from the Galactic Council had been abrupt, delivered with the solemnity of a death knell. No one saw this coming. Earth had always been the place where things seemed to go wrong. Wars, famines, pollution, global pandemics, you name it. Yet somehow, the planet had survived all its self-inflicted catastrophes. And not only had it survived, but it had also endured long enough to outlast entire civilizations. The experts were baffled, scratching their heads like someone trying to solve a Rubik's Cube that had no solution. Why? They asked. Why Earth? They dug into humanity's past, its violent history, its constant quest for dominance, its seemingly insatiable hunger to destroy whatever lay before them. And that was exactly what terrified the Galactic Council. You see, Earth wasn't the planet that got wiped out. Number Earth was the cockroach of the cosmos, refusing to die no matter how many times it got stomped on. Colonies were sent to other worlds, flourishing for centuries before vanishing into the void. But Earth? Earth just kept on spinning like nothing happened. No matter how many plagues, disasters, or conflicts struck, humanity didn't just survive, it thrived. It was as if Earth was some cosmic lottery winner that didn't understand the rules and kept winning. A species that seemed incapable of learning from its mistakes, but was also somehow resilient enough to continue existing despite itself. The Council couldn't comprehend it. They expected extinction, not endurance. Reports flooded in from human colonies across the galaxy, describing eerie, inexplicable events. Entire star systems plunging into darkness, ships disappearing mid-journey, and entire planets suddenly becoming uninhabitable without warning. It wasn't war, famine, or disease. They'd seen those before. No, these disappearances were like something you couldn't fight, something beyond understanding. The mysterious void that swallowed entire civilizations whole. And then the conclusion became clear. The Council wasn't just afraid of humanity. They were afraid of what humanity represented. A species that had survived despite all odds, that seemed to endure where others perished. A species that could stumble into extinction, but somehow managed to keep dragging itself forward, like a bad case of intergalactic bad luck. That was terrifying. A species so flawed, so destructive, yet somehow still alive and thriving? It defied the laws of logic. And in the cold, uncaring void of space, the idea that Earth could continue existing, despite its long history of self-destruction, was enough to keep other civilizations awake at night. The Galactic Council wasn't just issuing a warning. They were trembling at the very idea that Earth was still out there, kicking and screaming, waiting to unleash chaos on anyone unlucky enough to encounter it. The mysteries of Earth's past were just the beginning. Reports from ancient ruins scattered across the galaxy told a chilling story. Every civilization that rose to greatness seemed to vanish without a trace, leaving behind only echoes of their once mighty empires. Monuments built to last eons crumbled into dust, while grand civilizations seemed to disappear overnight, their histories ending as abruptly as a flickering light extinguished in the dark. Historians and archaeologists had spent centuries piecing together these remnants, trying to understand what had caused the downfall of countless species. The answers, however, always eluded them. Some said it was war, civilizations wiping themselves out in acts of self-destruction. Others believed environmental collapse, pollution, or some cataclysmic disaster had doomed them. Yet, no common thread emerged, no single explanation that fit all. The result? A galaxy full of shattered ruins, haunted by mysteries that refused to be solved. But there was one unsettling pattern that began to emerge. The ones who should have survived didn't. And Earth? It had somehow managed to do exactly that. Human history was a tapestry of war, greed, and environmental ruin. They had fought wars over resources, polluted their own home to the brink of collapse, and nearly wiped themselves out more times than anyone could count. And still, they remained. The Council couldn't wrap their heads around it. Was humanity just lucky? Or was there something far more sinister at play? The answer, they suspected, lay in the ruins themselves. Ancient civilizations had built vast networks of technology, more advanced than anything humanity could imagine. They had harnessed forces of nature that now seemed like the stuff of myth. But then, suddenly, they were gone, vanished. What the Galactic Council feared wasn't the possibility of destruction, but survival. The history of these lost civilizations suggested they had been undone by forces they couldn't comprehend. Could humanity have stumbled upon the same forces, the same hidden dangers that had wiped out others? Were they somehow a ticking time bomb, destined to follow the same path of annihilation? The more they studied Earth's past, the more they realized that humanity had a knack for surviving when they shouldn't. Even during the darkest times, plagues, wars, and environmental collapse, there was always some stubborn human colony clinging to life, refusing to go quietly into extinction. It was as if Earth had become a breeding ground for resilience, but not in the heroic, noble way. It was more like a cosmic joke. One theory gained traction among the Council. If humanity couldn't be wiped out by normal means, maybe they were meant to carry something far worse. Something ancient and malevolent that had already claimed countless other civilizations. Perhaps humans were the carriers of a curse or a dormant force, waiting for the right moment to awaken. It wasn't just their survival that was terrifying, it was what they might become. The Council realized that Earth wasn't a place of destruction. It was a place where civilizations fell and failed to die. They survived through sheer determination, their capacity for self-destruction unmatched. And the thought of that tenacity spreading, growing stronger, was enough to keep the other civilizations awake at night. The ruins weren't just evidence of past failure. They were warnings, and humanity had refused to heed them. The human colonies scattered across the galaxy weren't the only ones to experience these inexplicable vanishings. In fact, remnants of lost civilizations had been discovered throughout known space, worlds that had thrived for centuries, only to suddenly disappear in the blink of an eye. The reports were chillingly consistent. Entire systems going dark, starships vanishing mid-flight, Entire planets suddenly becoming uninhabitable without any discernible cause. What made these disappearances so terrifying was their randomness. There were no signs of battle, no visible signs of environmental collapse, no logical explanations at all. One moment, civilizations were flourishing, their cities teeming with life, and the next, they were gone, completely wiped from existence, leaving only ruins and the eerie silence of their absence. The survivors? They were never found. Human colonies had fallen victim to the same eerie phenomena. Reports from human explorers returned with tales of entire star systems descending into darkness, unable to send any signals back. Space was littered with the echoes of lost colonies, skeletons of once thriving worlds. It wasn't war that caused their disappearance, nor was it natural catastrophe like a supernova or a planet-wide plague. It was something far more insidious, far more elusive. Theories spread like wildfire. Some suggested it was an invasive species, some kind of cosmic virus that spread from planet to planet, consuming civilizations like a parasite. Others believed it was some alien force, a malevolent intelligence capable of wiping entire systems from existence. But no evidence ever supported these theories. There were no survivors, no wreckage, no communication from these vanishing colonies. They simply ceased to exist. One of the most disturbing aspects of these disappearances was how specific they were. Entire civilizations, advanced civilizations, would vanish, but their neighboring systems remained untouched. Why? Why were some worlds spared while others were consumed? The Council couldn't explain it, but they could only observe the pattern of disappearance, one that inevitably led to Earth's name being whispered in fearful tones. Reports from human colonies detailed strange phenomena that no one could explain. Ghost signals appearing and disappearing from communication systems, entire fleets vanishing mid-jump, and entire regions of space becoming shrouded in eerie silence. Those who ventured to explore these regions never returned. Entire star systems, once populated by humans, became abandoned, empty, like the echo of a long-forgotten nightmare. What was the common thread? Humanity. Earth kept popping up in the histories of all these lost colonies. The Council noticed it. No matter where humans traveled, they seemed to encounter the same fate that had struck countless other civilizations before them. It was as if some invisible force was targeting them in particular. They didn't understand why humans were the constant in these disappearances, but they knew it wasn't a coincidence. Even stranger were the reports from human explorers who described an unsettling phenomenon. Unexplained distortions in space, as though the fabric of reality itself was tearing apart. Some spoke of strange whispers in the dark, voices from nowhere that spoke of forgotten worlds, of ancient forces long thought dead. Could it be that humanity was becoming a vector for these unseen forces? A conduit for something far more terrifying than any war or invasion? The fear wasn't just that humanity had survived when they shouldn't have. It was that they might be the carriers of whatever force had wiped out civilizations before. The Council wasn't afraid of humans per se, but of what humans represented. A species that didn't just endure but carried within them something older, something unknown, something that could spell doom for the galaxy. And that was what made humanity terrifying. Not their wars, not their failings, but their ability to survive despite everything. What had happened to those ancient civilizations was still a mystery, but what was clear now was this: humanity was next in line to answer it. Legends of the lost civilizations began to take on a life of their own. Whispers echoed across the galaxy. Stories passed down from one civilization to the next. They spoke of a shadow, an unseen force that moved in the void between the stars, consuming entire worlds in silence. The tales were eerily similar, stories of vast empires that rose to heights of unimaginable power, only to vanish as if they had been swallowed by the very fabric of space itself. What was this shadow? Was it a sentient being, a cosmic predator, or some unseen force lurking beyond the edges of reality? No one had ever seen it, but everyone seemed to feel its presence in their nightmares. Those who encountered it often reported strange, inexplicable phenomena, dimensional rifts appearing without warning, stars flickering out as though they were snuffed by some unseen hand. And always, there was the silence. No warnings, no cries of distress, just the eerie void left behind, a tombstone marking the end of a civilization. The Galactic Council had seen enough. They weren't merely concerned about the possibility of destruction. They feared survival itself. The key wasn't just how civilizations fell, but why they had failed to survive. The ones that should have endured had all vanished, leaving only shattered remnants behind. And there was a growing, terrifying belief that humanity might be next. Earth's ancient history was no different. Humanity had once walked a fragile, chaotic path. They fought endless wars, pillaged their own world, and nearly wiped themselves out more times than they could count. But somehow, they kept going. Time and again, humanity proved remarkably adept at surviving their own worst mistakes. The Council couldn't understand it, how a species so prone to self-destruction could still be around. What if, the Council began to speculate, humanity wasn't merely surviving, it was something far more dangerous? What if humans weren't just the cockroach of the galaxy, surviving against all odds, but something far more ominous? What if they were a species marked by the very forces that had wiped out entire civilizations before them? The more they looked into it, the more they realized how uniquely terrifying humanity's persistence was. Reports from lost colonies told of something far worse than extinction, an entity they began to refer to as the Shadows. They didn't know if it was a force, a creature, or some cosmic phenomenon. What they did know was that whenever this shadow arrived, it wasn't to conquer, it was to erase. Entire civilizations would disappear, leaving behind only dust and silence. No remnants, no signs of war or destruction. Just gone. Theories spread like wildfire. Some believed this shadow was a cosmic plague, an invasive force that consumed civilizations like a virus. Others theorized it was an alien intelligence, a silent predator with no clear motive, only an insatiable hunger for extinction. But no evidence ever emerged to prove any of it. The phenomenon was too strange, too random, too specific to be attributed to anything natural. One of the most troubling conclusions came from the very ruins themselves. The civilizations that vanished didn't just disappear, they failed to die. Their empires crumbled, their cities reduced to dust, but they didn't leave behind the usual signs of destruction. No debris, no bodies, no rotting civilizations left to decay into history. It was as if they had simply been wiped out of existence. The ones who had survived didn't understand how or why, but they were gone. The Council couldn't escape the nagging fear. What if humanity wasn't just unlucky? What if they weren't immune, but destined to repeat history? What if Earth, with its bizarre resilience, was only the latest in a long line of civilizations doomed to fall before this incomprehensible force? And if that was true, humanity wasn't just terrifying because of its failures. It was terrifying because of its survival. In the heart of Earth's ancient ruins, something strange stirred, hidden beneath the crumbling remnants of a civilization long forgotten. It wasn't just dust and decay that the archaeologists unearthed. It was something far more unsettling. Fragments of a lost culture, hints of forgotten knowledge, and hints of technology far beyond anything humanity had ever dreamed of. The ruins weren't just crumbling relics. They were messages from a vanished race that had once walked the planet. What terrified the Galactic Council wasn't just that humans had survived. It was what they had uncovered beneath the surface. Beneath layers of dust and decay, there were whispers of a civilization far older than humanity. A race that had once ruled the Earth long before they came into existence. They weren't just older, they were better. The artifacts revealed advanced technologies capable of bending reality itself. Devices that could manipulate space and time, ones that could disrupt entire star systems with little more than a thought. It was technology so far beyond anything humanity had achieved that it bordered on the mythological. And the most disturbing part? These beings had vanished, leaving behind only cryptic messages. Messages that hinted at a power humanity wasn't supposed to possess. The messages spoke of something called the Ancient Order, a once great civilization that had ruled the Earth. They didn't disappear by accident. They didn't fall victim to war or plague. They were erased, wiped clean from history. The Council didn't know how or why, but it became abundantly clear. The civilizations that had come before weren't wiped out. They left, and they didn't come back. The artifacts revealed something even more chilling. The messages were encoded in human DNA. These ancient beings had left behind dormant instructions, waiting for the right moment to awaken. Humanity, they believed, was somehow destined to inherit the knowledge and the power of those who came before. The messages hinted at forces beyond understanding, forces that had once been controlled by the ancients. What kind of civilization leaves encoded warnings in their DNA? One that knew they would not survive, but that their descendants would. The Council was haunted by this. They didn't fear humanity's destruction. They feared their survival. And worse, they feared what humans might become when the ancient powers within them awakened. The more they studied the ruins, the more it became clear. Humanity wasn't just surviving by chance. They were a culmination of everything that had come before. And what if, deep inside their DNA, there was something ancient and powerful, something capable of reshaping reality itself? If the ancients had been wiped out for their hubris, what did that mean for humanity? Was Earth truly the final resting place of ancient civilizations, or was it something else entirely? The questions loomed large, and the answers remained elusive. But one thing became undeniable. Humanity wasn't just a species that survived against the odds. They were something far more dangerous. The Galactic Council could feel the noose tightening around them. Earth had become a puzzle they couldn't solve, a ticking time bomb they couldn't disarm. They had spent countless cycles analyzing ancient data, poring over the remnants of long-lost civilizations, and digging into the secrets of humanity's past. The more they uncovered, the more they realized that Earth wasn't just another lost planet. It was something far more sinister. They'd been trying to understand the disappearance of ancient civilizations, the vanishing acts that left entire star systems dead and silent. What they couldn't ignore anymore was that all these civilizations had something in common: Earth. The anomalies weren't isolated incidents. They were linked. And what disturbed them most was the eerie silence surrounding humanity itself. No warning signals, no cries for help, no signs of collapse. Just nothing. The Council had started calling it the silence of Earth. Every species in the galaxy knew what it meant. Whenever a civilization vanished, it wasn't just death. They ceased to exist. Entire systems turned dark. No transmissions, no signals, no signs of war or struggle. It was as if they had been erased from existence, but there was no evidence of destruction. Nothing but silence. And now, Earth had been crowned the most terrifying planet. A planet that, by all logic, should have died countless times over, but refused to do so. A species that defied extinction, surviving wars, pandemics, and environmental collapse. What the Council couldn't figure out was why. Why was Earth still here? Why were humans still around when they should have vanished like all the others? They pored over the ancient data, examining reports from humans who had traveled to far-off colonies, only to return with tales of strange distortions in space, dimensional rifts, disappearing stars, and systems that simply vanished. It wasn't just destruction they feared. It was the unknown. And with every new report from humans, the Council grew more uneasy. One theory haunted them more than the others. What if the ancient civilizations that had vanished before hadn't been wiped out? What if they had ascended, evolved, moved beyond what was comprehensible to lesser species? What if humanity, in its stubborn survival, was next? What if humans were destined to follow the same path, evolving beyond comprehension, beyond extinction, into something far worse? The thought sent shivers down the spines of even the most hardened council members. They weren't afraid of humanity's destruction. They were terrified of their evolution. The message from humanity's past was clear. They weren't just destined to survive. They were destined to transform. And what if that transformation wasn't something they could control? What if the ancient powers buried within humanity's DNA, the very forces that had wiped out the civilizations of old, were starting to awaken? Reports from human colonies spoke of strange phenomena, unexplained bursts of energy, sudden technological leaps, and an unsettling connection to the very fabric of reality itself. Was humanity beginning to tap into powers they weren't ready for? Powers that even the ancients couldn't control? The Council began to wonder, were humans evolving into something beyond extinction? Something that couldn't be stopped, only avoided? If humanity was the last thread connecting these vanishing civilizations, then what came next was anyone's guess. And none of the guesses were good. The fear wasn't just extinction. It was the end of understanding, the end of control. And the thought of humanity surviving wasn't just a nightmare for the Council. It was a cosmic warning to every other civilization that had managed to escape the void. In the end, the Council didn't have answers. They only had questions, unanswerable ones that left their heads spinning. Earth wasn't just a planet. It had become a symbol of cosmic uncertainty. Every decision, every piece of evidence pointed to one horrifying realization. Humanity wasn't just surviving. They were evolving into something far beyond what anyone could comprehend. The Galactic Council could feel the weight of history pressing down on them. They had watched countless civilizations fall, each one succumbing to some unseen force, some mysterious entity lurking in the void. And now, Earth, a planet that should have followed the same path, was still standing, refusing to fall. Worse, it wasn't just standing still. It was thriving, adapting, and somehow getting stronger. They didn't understand it, but they couldn't deny it anymore. The evidence was undeniable. Humans weren't just surviving extinction. They were evolving into something new, something that defied all logic. How had they endured environmental collapse, endless wars, and self-destruction? How had they not been wiped from existence like all the other civilizations?